Cami, our exit polling and the AP has already called some races for Mitt Romney, Indiana and Kentucky for the president, Vermont. What is in yellow here are the polls that are already closed. What we're going to want to watch is Virginia and Florida. When those results come in the next couple hours, those are going to be critical. In the bottom of the half hour, about 20 minutes, you're going to have Ohio, West Virginia, closing, as well as North Carolina. Those are going to be critical states to watch as well to determine what happens in Wisconsin when the polls close at 8 o'clock. On to Wisconsin, we have early polling results we can share with you, the key word being early, giving some insight into who is voting and why tonight. By the end of the night, about 3,400 Wisconsinites are going to be polled. When asked which issue is most important, more than half of Wisconsin voters tonight are saying the economy. So then on the economy, when asked who would better handle it, look at this. It's basically a tie in these early numbers between the president and Mitt Romney in Wisconsin. Let's go back to the map right now, and we're going to look at Wisconsin. We're going to be able to break these numbers down for you once they come in. The northwestern part of the state, that is basically a tie right now. The exit polls are showing the president won that region by about 15 points back in 2008. The northeast part of the state where we are, Mitt Romney has a slight edge right now in these early numbers. The overall statewide picture is starting to look more like a 2004 than a 2008. We, of course, will be here all night and bring you all the details throughout the evening. Dave is here to play a little numbers game with us, something the campaigns, I'm sure, are doing throughout the entire weekend, this path to 270. Let's look at the map. Here's what we have. The president in blue, Mitt Romney in red. The yellow is the toss of the states. Everyone is looking at this final weekend. Statistically speaking, let's do this and begin with this scenario, Dave. The president wins Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Ohio. And we'll say Mitt Romney wins Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia. From the statistics from this picture, what does Mitt Romney need to do to get to 270?
Well, he really needs to run the board on the rest of the states, so he's going to have to win New Hampshire, Iowa, Colorado, and Nevada, and that will get him to 273, so he'll be just over the required 270 electoral votes needed. And
in this scenario, if the president wins Ohio, those 4 states we highlighted, he just needs to win one of those, say a Colorado, for example, to flip to 274. Let's switch this up a bit. The state that everyone is focusing on and everybody wants to win, Ohio. If Mitt Romney wins Ohio, what does that do to the president and the states he needs to win?
Well, then he needs to run the table on the other. He needs to get New Hampshire, Iowa, Colorado, and Nevada, and that will just put him over the 270 mark and give him 272.
And just in reverse, Mitt Romney would just need to win one of those 4 states in that scenario. What you consider a possible game changer is if the president wins Florida. What does that do to Mitt Romney and this campaign? What needs to happen if the president wins Florida?
Well, that really puts Romney in a difficult position. He's going to have to then win a big state like Pennsylvania, but then he's also going to have to pick up some of these other states like a New Hampshire, Iowa, Colorado. If he wins those, that would put him at 276. Nevada was the other one that was up. He's going to have to win 2 or 3 of those in order to get him to that 270 mark.
And I guess the magic thing right here is these 2 states, Ohio and Pennsylvania. That, I would assume, would be a challenge for a Republican to win both of those.
I think it would. I mean, Pennsylvania looks like it's clearly in Democratic hands right now. Naturally, that could change, but I think it would be tough for Romney to win both of those at this point.
I want to talk strategy a little bit. I talked with one of the president's senior advisors, Robert Gibbs, about what states they're in, what states Republicans are in, and what that means. Let's listen to that question and answer real quick. 1 week out, when you look at any given swing state, if a campaign is spending money there, if your campaign is spending money there, if you're sending the president, the vice president, or surrogates, what does it say about that state?
Well, I think what it means right now is we want to make the case in that state one last time or 2 more times before Election Day. I think that's why the president is going to be in Wisconsin. I think that's why the president's going to be in a number of Midwestern states.
All right, Dave, you heard what Robert said. This is basically one last campaign stop. Republicans would see this as somewhat desperate, is what they're coming out and saying today. For argument's sake, for what I'm going to show you here, we're going to turn Minnesota, Michigan, and Pennsylvania yellow. Democrats would say, well, why are you doing that? It's because both campaigns are running ads, spending money in these 3 states this final weekend. These are Democratic strongholds. What does that say that the Obama campaign is spending money here?
Well, it obviously must suggest that they see something in their internal polling that indicates they're not as strong as they'd like to be in those states, and I think they can't afford to lose any of those states either in this election. So I would think this spending is more for insurance policy more than anything else.
On the flip side, the Romney campaign is running ads in these 3 states as well. They must see something in their numbers that they like on the flip side.
Obviously that they see some opportunity here as well, and so they want to make sure that they can hopefully gain some ground in one of those states.
All right, before we end here, we're going to play out one more scenario, the one that probably neither campaign wishes ever happens, and it's going to get a bit nerdy. I apologize on that. What we're going to do is we're going to give the president these states along with Ohio. And then what we're going to do is we are going to give Mitt Romney the rest. He would need to sweep all of these. And what that adds up to is 269, 269. And Dave, tell me what that means if that happens.
Well, that means we have a tie. No one reaches a majority in the Electoral College. A very unusual situation. The probability of that happening, I think, is very low. But if it does happen, then the election gets thrown into the House of Representatives in Congress. Each state gets 1 vote for their candidate. And we'll have to see what happens. But I doubt that this will happen, Matt.
All right, before anyone takes this for gospel, we're just going to wipe this off the slate and wipe that clean. We'll see what happens Tuesday night. Bill and Cammie, back to you.